Okay. So I gotta turn that just a little bit, huh? Yeah. How's that? Alright. So we got the samples. There's Merlot and the Syrah. And you can notice the different colors in the two. I don't have enough experience with the grapes to know if that's normal or if that depends on the growing season or whatever, but there's definitely a different color. I already took the temperature. I just dipped the standard thermometer into the bins. Two different temperatures. The Syrah was 50 degrees and the Merlot was 60. And that has to do with the growers and where they had the grapes were crushed the day before we got them. We got home last night with them, and the grapes were crushed the day before, so they had them overnight, and that would depend on the temperature of the warehouse where they were stored, and also they were about 45 miles apart in distance, so there might have been a difference just outside temperature. So now the first thing we're going to do is determine the acid. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a 5 milliliter sample, add 75 milliliters of distilled water, and then just a few drops of phenolphthalein, and run the sodium hydroxide in it until we come up with an endpoint. So this is my waste beaker. This will be my test beaker. This is a 10 milliliter pipette. I'm going to take 5 milliliters. Okay, 5 milliliters. Beaker. Okay. We'll take and rinse the pipette with distilled water. We'll put it up in the drying rack. Now we'll measure out 75 milliliters of distilled water. And this doesn't have to be accurate because there's no ionization in the distilled water, so it doesn't interfere with the acidity of the water. Okay. Now drop in the stir bar, a little magnetic stir bar just to stir, and we'll add a few drops of phenolphthalein. Alright, now we'll record the top amount sodium hydroxide. I'll cover the wine samples just to kind of give it a little bit of protection. Now, so this is 5.6 milliliters exactly. So we've got Merlot, and we're going to start with 5.6. Start. 5.6 Okay, we'll turn on the stir. And then we'll start adding the sodium hydroxide. I like to set it so it's just kind of a steady drip. Then I don't have to mess with that. And I can just kind of watch. So it's dripping in sodium hydroxide. And what happens is each time the drop goes in, it turns purple, kind of a purplish for just a second. And when it reaches its end point, it'll stay that different color. You can't really see that probably, but every time that drop hits, there's a little cloud burst of purple. And when you're at the finish point, that cloud burst won't burst, it'll just cloud and stay. I'm so damn grateful. I grew up really wanna go fronts, but that's what you get when Wu-Tang raised you. Y'all can't stop me. Go hard like I got an 808 in my heartbeat. And I'm eating at the beat like it gave a little speed to a great white shark on Shark Week. Wanna go gone. Deuces goodbye. I got a world to see. My girl, she wanna see Rome. Caesar make you a believer now. I never ever did it for a throne. That validation comes from giving it back to the people now. Sing this song and it goes like, raise those hands. This is our party. We came here to live life like nobody was watching. I got my city right behind me. If I fall, they got me. Learn from that failure, gain humility, and then we keep marching. I said, this is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. This is the moment. Tonight is the night. We'll fight till it's over. So we put our hands up like the ceiling can't hold us. Like the ceiling can't hold us. Now the cloud bursts are taking a little bit longer to go away, so it's getting close to the end. See, I don't know, you probably can't see that, but here, let's turn this just a little bit so you can see. See that purple? There's a little purple burst with every drop. There's something's changed there now. Now we're changing here. It's changing. Almost. One more. Boom. That'll be it. Okay, so there's our end point. Now we turn this off, turn the stir off, and we'll record the volume here, subtract it out, get the total volume of sodium hydroxide math equation on it and come up with the percent of total acidity. For red wines, that should be from 0.4% up to 0.9% roughly. But we'll see what we come up with. Okay, so here we have 7.7. Well, this will be a little bit less. This was brand new Merlot, so I'm not that familiar with what it's supposed to be. But this is 7.7. So that's 2.1. It's not going to be very acidic. So that's times 0.15 equals. Well, my calculator's on my phone, but basically we multiply that out in total acidity. So that's how we do that. It's more the process than the end result that I want. Okay. Okay. Rinse the majority of it off. We're going to final little rinse with distilled water. Okay. We'll just put it up to dry for a second. Okay. Let's rinse the waste beaker too and dry that. Okay, there's that. Let's run let's test for bricks real quick. So, it's pretty easy. Pour the wine in the cylinder. This is a specific gravity weight. It just weights in. The more sugar there is, the higher it floats.
Have you thought about following your passion for music into a career path doing what you love? Full Sail University offers degree programs that teach you how to record, produce, or work in the business side of the industry. This year, 61 Full Sail graduates worked on Grammy-nominated albums by artists like Beyonce, Jack White, Florence and the Machine, and Taylor Swift. Learn more by tapping the ad below or visit fullsail.edu/Spotify to learn more.
Let's call it 25.5. Okay. So Merlot is 25.5 bricks. 25.5 bricks. 60 degrees. Something to dry. Out. All right, let's run a quick SO2 test, and then we'll be done. Now for the SO2, turn the machine on, and we're going to get a 50 milliliter sample of the wine. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in 50 milliliters of wine into here, dump out the magnetic stir. But just rinse this just a second with distilled water. Okay, we'll get a waste beaker for the reagent. Now, I have a graduated, it's 50 milliliter graduated cylinder for measuring. I'll fill it up to the 50 milliliter mark. Drop over. Let's just do that. Okay, 50 milliliters. Dump this into the beaker. Regular water rinse, distilled water rinse. And dry. Okay. Now we're going to add 5 milliliters of the sulfur dioxide reagent. Our 10 milliliter pipette for that. Use a nice clean dry one. Five milliliters. Put that in there. Okay. Rinse this. Basic rinse. Distilled water. Put her up to dry. Okay. Now we add a package of stabilizer. Okay, we add the stir bar, throw it in here, lid on, we'll put the discharge hose into the waste beaker. Now we got to put the probe in. Here's our probe. mix it in a little distilled water. Put it in. It's just so it doesn't hit the magnet that's spinning. Adjust the height with this. Okay. Now we have the discharge into the waste beaker. We push start. Continue. Now what it's doing is it's filling the syringe with this bottle of solution. This is low range titrant. Okay. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? Oh, I'm gonna be an optimist about this. Oh, I'm gonna be an optimist about this. If you close your eyes, and it's running. So this is gonna this plunger is going to inject the titrant into here. So it's just what we were doing over here, except it's done automatically by the machine. And the end point is tested with an electrode testing voltage in the solution. Now we're up to 2.3 parts per million. It's injecting. You can hear the injector going up. It's injecting the titrant. We're up to almost 14 parts per million. I added about 20 parts per million. Typical additions are 50 parts per million at this stage of winemaking. I backed it off because I'd like to co-inoculate the malolactic bacteria along with the yeast. The malolactic bacteria doesn't like the sulfites. So I want to add a little bit to help knock out resident yeast and do a little bit of bug control in there if there is any. The grapes look real clean on both batches. Nice sunny hot weather, no mold. I don't anticipate any problems. It's completed, so it's 15 parts per million. So the math for 20 parts per million is a little bit vague because we're dealing with grain mash, not actual gallon volume. And the other thing is the sulfites get bound immediately when they go into a solution like that. And you lose a certain portion of your free SO2. So 15 parts per million. Excellent. And that's the end of our testing. I'll do the same thing now for the Syrah, and then hydrate the yeast and inoculate both batches with yeast. Thank you.